let's get some fuel into our system. We'll talk about food, but let's start with Nigeria energy market. Look at the sector yesterday. The big seven pulled the market, pulled that subsector into some positive territory, but that was not shared by two or three of the companies. So let's take a look at that very quickly. Corn oil fell about 4.71%. That's less than 700,000 units. Forty oil sitting on change at 50 naira when the market. And Pt.1 PLC. Don't get confused with the third bar over there, the one in red. That used to be mobile oil. So from today, you're going to be seeing that Pt.1. It's not 11. It's called Pt.1 PLC. That's the name of the new company since the takeover of that company, majority shareholding about 71% by NIPCO PLC. The new name is Pt.1 PLC. But the one you see at the gas station is going to remain the same. But on the trading engine of the exchange, it's now a Pt.1, down 5%. MRS 3366. Owando lost 6.8. 27,372,000 shares on the day. The company issued a statement to the stock exchange that is cooperating with the SEC and that the allegations of poor corporate governance and financial mismanagement have no merit. Investors perhaps think otherwise. Whatever it is, the stock was down on that volume. But we had a green shoot. Total was up almost 10% on a very small turnover, 24,010 units. What do we have on the street this morning? So we're talking about food. FBN Quest released what they call this daily Good Morning Nigeria note today, saying there's an uptick in food price inflation. Yes, we saw that from the Statistics Office yesterday. But what are the factors driving food prices? We've been chewing this over. Ada Akonobi, one of the research analysts at Financial Derivatives. She's live here in the studios to unpack this for us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. When inflation comes in, folks look at the headline, those of you who crunch the numbers, and say, well, that looks good because the headline shows that we're trending downwards. However, for every Nigerian, there are one or two basic parameters for measuring inflation. The first is food, the second, transportation, and the third is fuel.
Yes.
So the first, which is food, was bad news. Fuel was a little bit of a good news, a little bit because of petrol.
Yes.
But diesel is going up. So I look at your good news, bad news, and what are the top burning economic issues that you folks put together. Then we have the third, transportation cost is still high.
Well, out of the full inflation data released yesterday, we saw that 3 actually declined while 1 increased. So core inflation, year-on-year inflation, and month-on-month inflation declined while food inflation increased. So we see there's some sort of downward trend generally. And what is most important now is looking at both core inflation and food inflation. Now, why we are seeing a reverse, why we are seeing an uptick in food inflation is because typically this season, this is a harvest season. It was rainy season in July, and there were floodings and there were some logistics issues. But now this is harvest season, and if there's harvest, there's going to be more products distributed into the market, which will eventually moderate prices. So yes, so that's why we're seeing some uptick in food prices.
Explain what core inflation really means.
Well,
in layman's language.
Well, core inflation is inflation minus seasonality. So basically all of that, for example, PMS and all of that go into core inflation, goes into that basket. So we are seeing a downward trend. And it's very important as well to note that imported inflation is actually coming down. So this is due to the amount of frequent intervention in the FX market by the central bank. So now most traders are somewhat passing, we are seeing the pass-through effect on the price of a good item. So
let's stick with food. I had a few slices of wheat bread before I got on here so I could get some energy, some glucose in my brain for this job, for the next 1 hour, for the 1 hour. So, we're down to food. And there are two components in this, the domestic and the imported sub part of that. And what everyone seems to have agreed is that we are fixing the imported food inflation because the central bank keeps pumping dollars into the market, so we've seen a bit of a stable exchange rate. So that looks very good. Thank you, the central bank, even though I'm still not comfortable with imported food prices at 14.1% year on year. That's still high.
Yes, some. So depends. It's a wide basket. So some are sticky downwards. Some are prices are being reversed. So it depends on the range of products. But generally, in the shelves, we are seeing some sort of moderation or a marginal reduction in price in imported food items. But like we said, food inflation is still high. But then, if you look at the food basket that we bring together, palm oil has actually come down. I mean, it was in January. It was about 25,000 for 25 liters. So it's down to 15,000. So if you do a year high and what it is now, we are seeing some sort of moderation in prices.
Yes. Yeah, that's palm oil. So if we just go to that list very quickly, and what I saw when you folks brought that in, thank you, folks, I saw 4 green shoots, and you can see that on the TV screen. As far as old yam, tomatoes, 50 kg, gari, 50 kg, and rice, 50 kg, those were trending lower. And we had flour, sugar, beans, and cement. I'm not constructing anything now, so I'm not buying cement. So you can just take that off my portfolio. So then I have semolina, also neuter, but palm oil looks like the price change over a year is still high.
Yes, so for example, old yam, tomatoes, basically tomatoes was as high as 28,000 naira, but now we're seeing some more supply in the market, so prices are coming downward. So a big basket goes to about 10 to 15,000 naira, which is quite good. Then yam, old yam and the new yam. So, typically in the food basket that we track, we're seeing some sort of moderation in prices because the harvest season is slowly picking up and traders are beginning to, fill up their stock in the market.
But again, if we can fix import food inflation because we have enough dollars to attack the dollar and perhaps a ban on a few items and all of that, so we seem to have some gains. But how do we fix, where are the key problems here as far as the local production is concerned? We're known to be farmers, we're known to